Today we will be working on measurement for A. We will be converting volume and capacity. We're going converting from gallons to quarts, from quarts to pints, from quarts to gallons. Remember, if we're going from large unit of measure to a small unit of measure, we're going to multiply. And if we're going from a small unit of measure to a large unit of measure, we're going to divide. So the units of measure that we'll be working on today will be customary, volume and capacity, and metric. So if we look at our star reference chart, this would be our units of measure. We have ounces, cups, pints, quarts, and gallons. 8 ounces equals 1 cup, 2 cups equals 1 pint, 2 pints equals 1 quart, 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. And for the metric, we have milliliters and liters. 1,000 milliliters equals to 1 liter. So if we look at their customary units of measure and we order them from least to greatest, so our smallest one would be fluid ounces. And we abbreviate that with fluid ounces. This would be about 2 tablespoons. So we can make a little, actually, we can make a spoon. 2 tablespoons would be about an ounce. Let's make 2 of them. So 2 tablespoons would be about an ounce. Then would be a cup. Abbreviate that with a C. This would be like a small juice box. So I can make a juice box. So a small juice box is about a cup. The next one would be kind of like a small carton of milk or ice cream. Let's make, this would be a pint. This would be like the milk you get at lunch. So let's make that. So that when we go to the cafeteria, those little milks that they give us, that would be pint. The small milks that we get at the cafeteria. Small carton of milk would be about, it is a pint. A quart. The next one would be a quart. And pint, we abbreviate it with a P, T, pint. Quart would be QT. And a quart would be like a larger, would be like about a bottle of orange juice. That would be about a quart. So let's draw that. Orange juice, that bottle of orange juice. Not a big bottle, just a smaller bottle. And then the last one would be a gallon. And we abbreviate it. This would be like a jug of milk. So like a gallon of milk. So the smallest one would be the fluid ounces, and then the cup would be about a juice box. A pint would be those small containers of milk that we get at the cafeteria, and a quart would be like a bottle of juice, and then the gallon of milk or a gallon of water. Let's look at the metric. Metric, we have the smallest one would be milliliter. and we abbreviate it ml. And this would be about an eyedropper. So the eyedropper is about a milliliter. And then we have the liter, and we abbreviate it with an L. And this would be about 2 bottled waters. So about 2 bottled waters is about a liter. So the smallest one would be a fluid ounce, then a cup, then a pint, then a quart, then a gallon. And for the metric, we have milliliter and we have the liter. So now and remember, anytime we're going from a larger unit of measure to a smaller unit of measure, we're going to multiply. If we're going from a small unit of measure to a large unit of measure, then we're going to have to divide. So measurement for A says 4 gallons equals how many quarts? So we have to find the equivalent measure, and this is where we use our STAR reference material. So we're going to gallons and quarts. I know 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So that would be our equivalent measure. We have 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. Now, what's our plan? We're going to multiply whatever gallons we have times 4 quarts because we're going from larger unit of measure to a smaller unit of measure. We're going to multiply. And we know a gallon is larger than a quart. So gallons are larger than quarts. So we know this one's the larger unit of measure and this is the small unit of measure. So we're going from large to small. We're going to multiply. So we're going to multiply whatever gallons we have times 4 quarts. And that's going to equal how many quarts we have. So let's put that in a number sentence. We have 4 gallons times 4 quarts. And that's going to give us however many quarts. And we know that 4 times 4 equals 16. So that would be 16 quarts. All we have to do is multiply because we're going from a larger unit measure to a smaller unit measure. We multiply. So look here, 4 quarts equals how many? 9 quarts, I'm sorry, equals how many pints? So I know that quarts are larger than pints. So we're going, quarts are larger than pints. So pints is a small unit of measure. So we're going from some large unit of measure to a smaller unit of measure. So I know I'm going to multiply. We're going from large to small. So now we have to find the equivalent measure. We're going from quarts to pints. So 1 quart equals 2 pints. So that would be our equivalent measure. 1 quart equals 2 pints. So we know we're going to have to multiply because we're going from large to small. We're going to multiply quarts, however many quarts we have, times 2. And that's going to give us how many pints we have. So how do we put that in a number sentence? We take our numbers, 9 times 2, because whatever quarts we have, we're going to multiply times 2. And that's going to equal however many quarts we have, pints, I'm sorry, we have. So I know 9 times 2 equals 18, and that would be 18 pints. So my answer would be 18 pints. Remember, if you're going from a larger unit of measure to a smaller unit of measure, you're going to multiply. All right, then we have 7 pints equals how many cups? So pints and cups. So I know pints are larger than cups because we put them from least to greatest. Pints are greater than cups. So pints is the larger unit of measure, cups is a smaller unit of measure. So if I'm going from larger unit of measure to smaller unit of measure, I'm going to multiply. So I know I'm going to multiply here. So now we have to find an equivalent measure. How many cups are in a pint? So 1 pint equals 2 cups. So 1 pint equals 2 cups. So I know I'm going to multiply because I'm going from large to small. So I'm going to multiply whatever number of pints we have times 2. That's going to give me a number of cups. So how many pints do I have? I have 7 pints times 2. And that's going to give me how many cups? So here I'm going to solve it. 7 times 2 equals 7, 14. That's 14 cups. Let's look at D. 6 cups equals how many ounces? So we're looking at cups and ounces. So if I look at the cups, cups are larger than ounces. So the cups are larger and the ounces are smaller. So I'm going from a larger to a smaller unit of measure. I'm going to have to multiply. So I have to find an equivalent measure. Cups, how many ounces are in a cup? 1 cup equals 8 fluid ounces. So I can write 1 cup equals 8 ounces. So I know I'm going to multiply because I'm going from a large unit of measure to a small. So I'm going to multiply however many cups I have times 8 because there's 8 fluid ounces in a cup. And that's going to give me my fluid ounces. So what's my numbers in it? I take the number of cups I have, 6 cups times 8. And that's going to give me however number of cups I'm going to get. So 6 times 8 equals 48. So that would be 48 fluid ounces. So we have to remember, if I'm going from a larger unit of measure to a smaller unit of measure, I'm going to have to multiply. If I'm going from a small unit of measure to a large unit of measure, then I'm going to have to divide. So let's look at E. 20 quarts equals how many gallons? So we're going from quarts to gallons. So if I look at our diagram that we created, quarts are smaller than gallons. So we're going from a smaller unit of measure to a larger unit of measure. So quarts are smaller, gallons are larger. So if I'm going from small to large, if I'm going from a small unit of measure to a large unit of measure, then I'm going to have to divide. So here we're going to have to divide. So we have to find an equivalent measure first. How many quarts are in a gallon? So we look here. 1 gallon equals 4 quarts. So we can say 4 quarts equals 1 gallon. So now we need a plan. How are we going to solve this? I'm going to take whatever quarts we have, and I'm going to have to divide by 4. And that's going to give me how many gallons I'm going to get. So now I have to put in a number setting. So I have 20 quarts and I'll divide it by 4, and that should give me how many gallons? So 20 divided by 4. So how many 4 is going to 20? 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. That's 5. So my answer would be 5 gallons. Right, look at F. Remember, we're going from small to large, we're going to divide. Large to small, we're going to multiply. So now we have 16 pints equals how many quarts? So I know pints are less than quarts. Pints are less than quarts. So this is a smaller unit of measure. That is a larger one. So we're going to divide. So we have to go from pints to quarts. 1 quart equals 2 pints. So we can put 2 pints equals 1 quart. So whatever pints we have, we're going to divide it by 2, and that would give us our quarts. So now we make it into a number sentence. We have 16 divided by 2. That's going to give us how many quarts we're looking for. So 16 divided by 2. So how many 2's go into 16? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. That's 8. So our answer would be 8 quarts. Let's look at G. 24 cups equals how many pints? Cups are smaller than pints. A cup is smaller than a pint. So this is my small unit of measure. This is the large unit of measure. We're going from small to large, so we're going to divide again. So how many cups are in a pint? 1 pint equals 2 cups. We look at our reference, star reference material, and we can say that 1 pint equals 2 cups. So 2 cups equals 1 pint. So we have to have our plan. So whatever number of cups, we're going to divide it by 2, and that's going to give us our pints. So now we make it into a number sentence. We take the number of cups, 24, divided by 2, and that's going to give us our pints. So 24 divided by 2 is 12. So that would be 12 pints. Let's do our last one, H. 32 fluid ounces equals how many cups? So ounces are less than cups. Fluid ounces are less than cups. So this is a smaller unit of measure, and that's a larger unit of measure. So we're going from a small unit of measure to a large unit of measure. That means we're going to have to divide. So let's find our equivalent measure. 1 cup equals 8 ounces, fluid ounces. So we can say 8 fluid ounces equals 1 cup. So we have to come up with a plan. So whatever number of fluid ounces we have, we divide it by 8, and that's going to give us our cups. How many cups are we going to have? So now we make a number sentence. Now we have to put in our numbers. So how many fluid ounces do we have? We have 32. And we're going to divide that by 8. And that's going to give us the number of cups. So 32 divided by 8, 8, 16, 24, 32. That's 4. So that would be 4 cups. Remember, if you're going from small to large, you're going to divide. If you're going from a larger unit of measure to a smaller unit of measure, then you're going to multiply. Now you try 4b on your own.